Mamma mia, pizzeria, la 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 la. Mamma mia, pizzeria, la 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 la. Oh, welcome to Pizza Man. Now, it's really not Pizza Man, is it? No. We're going to learn something about fractions today. Do you remember that? Yeah, fractions. Pieces of a whole, right? So, I make a good pizza for you, and then we get started. All right, so I have my Play-Doh. And the good thing about Play-Doh is it sticks into my board. So we're going to practice some fractions. I know we've talked about fractions before, and we had Miss Judy come in with real pizza from CC's, right? Yeah, so we've done pizza fractions before, but I want to make sure that you don't forget them for when you go on to second grade, okay? So I make a good pizza pie, and to make it a very good circle, you can use the top of your Play-Doh can to make a very precise and perfect circle for you. That's my Italian accent, by the way. Okay, so I've got the circle, the shape. Now, do you remember what we call a shape that has no pieces taken out? It could be a circle, it could be a square, rectangle, any kind of shape with no pieces taken out. When they're all back together, what do we call that? A whole. Yeah, the whole pizza pie, remember? Yeah, so this is the whole, okay? So there's no pieces taken out. But what if you and your friend want to share a pizza pie? What are you going to do? Yeah, you can make it fair and equal. By sharing it fair and equally, you'll have to cut it in half. Oh, so me and, let's see, Marco and Miss Herbal will share a pizza pie. Okay, I make a good pizza for you. Got my pizza cutter. And I'm going to share it with Marco. There you go, Marco. There you go, Marco. Marco's piece, Miss Servo's piece. What do you think? Why not? Oh, it's not fair and it's not equal. If I put this piece on top of this piece, look how much more Miss Servo has than Marco's. Is that fair? No. Is that equal? No. Because when I put them on top of each other, they should be the same size and shape if I want it to be fair and equal. So, don't worry for you. I make a good pizza pie. You ready? Sing. Mamma mia, pizzeria, la 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 la. 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 Okay, so now I have my circle, my whole shape again. And I have to be fair to Marco. Now to be fair, you have to cut it right down the middle. It's kind of hard to do sometimes. And you have to have an even shape, a good shape. That's why I like to use the top of the pizza can. I mean, the Play-Doh can, so that it's a good circle. All right, so I'm going to try very carefully to cut it right down the middle to be fair and equal. What do you think? Da, 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 da. Marco, piece for you, piece for Miss Circle. Now, if I put them on top of each other, they should be fair and equal. Yes. See? All right. So what do we call this when we cut it into two pieces? What do you think? Do you remember? Yeah. This is a half, and this is one half. I put one half and one half together, and I'd get my whole, right? So one half and one half. And to mark that, this is what it looks like when you write one half. This is one half, and this is one half. Now, I like it because this number up at the top tells us how many pieces, and this one tells us out of the whole thing. So this is one piece out of two. This is one piece out of two, right? So that's why we say one half, or 1 over a 2. Okay? All right. I make a good pizza. Ready? Let's see. This time, sing for me. Mamma mia, pizzeria, la 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 la. Mamma mia, pizzeria, la 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 la. This time I go make a good pizza for you. Cut my circle. Now, that half, does it have to be just a circle? No, that half could be a square. Here, this is what I'll do, and I can encourage you to do this too. If you don't have the packet that I'm sending that has the fraction page to review, find some shapes like this square. You can find like your TV remote or this candle, right? Because it has a nice circle at the bottom. Find some shapes around your house, trace them, ask your family first, just in case. I'm going to use my marker, but you might want to use a pencil so you don't make any marks on whatever you're tracing. But if you trace your shape, you can still cut it in half, right? You just have to find the middle. Whoop, to be fair and equal. Good. Could you also maybe, if you didn't want to cut it in half that way, could you cut it in half this way? Would you still have two equal parts? Yeah. This would be 1/2 and this would be 1/2. Whoop. Oh, and here's a trickier way. You want to see a trickier way? Kind of like a sandwich. Watch. You could do that with a piece of bread. That would be fun. All right, ready? Whoop. Would this be okay? Yeah, because if I put those on top of each other, they would be the same shape and size. Yeah, this is 1/2 or one piece out of two, and this is 1/2. Yeah, and if I shade them in, I would say I have half shaded, right? Yeah. All right. So I just wanted to show you when you do half, it doesn't have to be a circle. It could be lots of different shapes. All right, ready? So I got my new pizza pie. There's a good pizza pie. But let's pretend I have some friends coming over. Actually, you know what? I have 4 people in my family. I have Mr. Zerbal, Mrs. Zerbal, Carly, and Haley. So that's 4 people. So I want to share this pizza equally and fair, because you know my girls will argue if I don't share it properly. So, and honestly, they eat the whole pizza pie. They don't even share. But anyway, so let's pretend I want to share with my 4 people in my family. There's 4 people. I already know how to get 2 pieces, but I have to do 4 equal pieces. To do that, I cut it down the middle. Would that be enough? Nope. Since I have 4 people, I have to cut it into 4 equal parts. So I know how to do that, and you guys probably remember from class. All right? If you just cut it in the middle again, carefully, you're going to have 4 equal parts. And they're called fourths, 1/4, right? Let's see. Because, where's my marker? Because this is 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. There you go. It's see that? 1/4 of a shape, or 1/4 of the shape that we're working on. Yeah, and if I put all the fourths back together, whoop, there you go. I'd have the whole pizza pie. I'd have a whole, right? So 4/4 would make my whole pizza pie again. Yeah. So this is 1/4, 1 piece out of 4. That's not a very good 4, is it? There you go. 1 piece out of 4. All right. Erase it speedy quick if you're following along with Miss Zerbal. And again, like I said, you can take any shape and then practice doing 1/4. Good job. All right, let's see. Now, thirds are a little bit tricky. I always tell my kid, and they're really hard to do with the pizza pie. I will tell you, with the Play-Doh. It's kind of hard. But the way it looks is, let's pretend I have a circle. And I want to cut it into thirds, because maybe it's just me, Mr. Zerbal, and Carly. Sometimes Haley's not here, because she has her own place. It kind of looks like a peace sign. You know what a peace sign looks like? Yeah, there's a line down, and it might not be perfect, but I'll try. And over, and over. That's thirds. Now mine's not perfect, and I don't think I have a third fraction piece, of course, the piece that I need. So, because this is 1/3, this is 1/3, and this is 1/3. Yeah. And if you had a rectangle pizza or bread or whatever you're sharing, whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's make it. See how I don't make a very good, even, and equal rectangle when I draw it? That's why I was encouraging you to trace a shape. And I'm going to trace my rectangle. But you can find a book or, like I said, your remote, or what else is a rectangle? Something. Find a rectangle in your house. That would be a good thing to do. An index card. Ooh, a cell phone. Yeah. Those are rectangles. And then try to practice cutting it in thirds. Now it has to be 3 equal parts, so this is a little trickier. So 1, I'm just eyeballing it, trying to be precise, but ooh, that's about as good as I can probably get. Not a very straight line, is it? There you go. So that's thirds. And if I wanted to share one with each person and give them a third of the pizza, I would color in 1/3. 1 piece out of 3. We call that 1/3. Yeah. You got it? Good. All right, erase the speed quick if you're following along. So we did 1/3, 1/4, 1/2. I think that's all we have. That's really what we do in first grade. We do a whole, a half, a third, and a fourth. Yeah, and you could do lots of different shapes. Look at this one. This one's cut into tenths. Yeah, 1/10, 1 piece. 1 piece out of 10. So it really could be any kind of fraction. All right, so just remember that a fraction is just a part of a whole. And on my playlist, I'm going to put that fractions, you're okay. Remember fraction song? I'm going to put the fraction song on my playlist. And you know what? I have that video from Miss Judy of when we did Pizza Math. That would be fun to look at, look back at our friends and stuff and see. And don't forget the word equal and unequal. Remember that pizza that I made for Marcos? And he had just a little piece? Yeah, and I had the big piece. That was not equal. We call that unequal. Yeah, it's like unfair. And then equal, it means that we both have the same. So if I have 1/4 and Carly had 1/4, we both have the same. That's called equal. Okay? Good job. I hope you enjoyed the pizza math. And don't forget to sing the song. Mamma mia, pizzeria, la 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 la. Right? Because it's very, very fun. Yeah. And it might annoy somebody in your house. And it annoys Mr. Zerble. All right. Well, have fun and keep learning.